Hello, this is Dave again from Life on Purpose Bus, where we talk about leading well, living on purpose, and honoring God with our lives. So I wanted to kind of give you an update of where we are and what our next steps are on this bus. Behind me, just as of last night, actually, there used to be a large pile of trash bags and mixed in fiberglass insulation in between that sheet metal there. We have now taken that out to there. I don't know if you can tell out there, but there is a trailer that my very good friend dropped off, and we have now dumped all that stuff into that trailer. We're planning to take it to the dump. We'll probably be able to take some of that sheet metal and get it recycled. For those of you who are building schoolies yourselves, that's a good thing to look at, is how can you get some return on that sheet metal, because there are places usually locally that will take that in and even pay you for the scrap metal so they can recycle it. So these chairs are actually going to be for sale or given away. We actually have 3 sets of those because we're not going to be using those anymore. Then we also have a mattress to get rid of. So trash is being taken out. Next step will then be to clean up all this insulation you see hanging from the ceiling, and then you have various slots inside the side panels that are full of insulation as well. So all that will be going away. So just as today's message of encouragement, I want to talk to you all about how this relates to life. So in the bus, we're taking out trash. That's kind of the main theme of the current moment in this stage of the game. And the truth is, right, life is a lot the same. I think of life kind of in sometimes in pillars, and to break that down to show you what I mean like, think of spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, and then even financially. These are some of the big key areas of our lives that we either pay a lot of attention to or almost no attention to. But the truth is if we don't address all those areas of our lives regularly, we tend to struggle, right? And so what does it mean to take out trash, right? I may have talked about it in a previous video that I did, but I want to share it with you all again. In 2016, I had such a difficult experience with my finances that I ended up having to not just work my day job, but I worked Uber to try to make ends meet. We literally had more money going out than coming in. It was a stressful time, and this was all coming up on Christmas, so we're kind of like, what are we gonna do? I was disappearing in the evenings to go drive people around. It was a bit of a stressful time. We got through it, but in that moment I realized that when it came to my finances, there was the proverbial trash that needed to be moved out. And so what that meant for me was finally getting a handle on my money, right? And actually beginning to do a budget, say no to things that weren't necessary. And for 3 years, right, from 2006, 17, 18, and 19, I did this. We didn't really paint many walls in our house. We didn't go on nearly as many vacations as we could. We didn't buy the toys and the fun stuff. You know, there was no financing. As a matter of fact, we were getting rid of debt. And so all that needed to happen to take out the trash in our finances. And so I want to encourage all of you to think about that, right? Are there unnecessary expenses in your life? Are there things that you're spending money on that maybe you shouldn't be, that could actually get you in a better place? And then finally, I want to close with this, right? God has asked us to be in partnership with Him. He chose that. He's the one who decided how that should go. So in a partnership, right, both partners have a role to play. So in the case of my role was to simply make choices on a day-to-day basis that were going to honor what I did with that money, right? And so that's why I had to say no to the unnecessary, begin to budget my money, and save and pay off a lot of debt, which Christy and I did do. We paid off over $100,000 of debt in those few years. It was a lot. But God's part is to do the things that we cannot do. And so here's kind of what that looks like. Throughout 17, 18, and 19, while we were paying off all that debt, my organization, the company that I work for, had one of the best years in 2019 going into 2020. And as a result of that, we probably got one of the best bonuses we've seen in many, many years. And so there was a huge financial payout. Now, I couldn't have planned for that. I couldn't have asked for that. No part of me knew that that was coming. It's just the way that it worked out. And so what that shows me, that in the partnership with God and myself, or you and God, there's the part you do where you make the decisions that actually lead to the outcome that you desire, and then God does the supernatural work in the background that causes things to work out for your good in the end. And so the combination of those two things led to, in the middle of a pandemic, having one of the best financial years that we've ever had. And all right, so that's just finances. You think about emotional, mental, spiritual, physical. What about your health? What about time with God? What about what you're putting in your mind on a day-to-day basis, the people you're spending time with? And when you're stressed out and all emotional and don't know how to handle what's coming at you, are you making the choices to put margin in your life, right? All these things need to be thought about so that we can take the trash out of our lives and live better, healthier lives that honor God, help lead others well, and actually begin to live your life on purpose. And here's the thing, enjoy it and even have peace while you do it. So that's today's message. There'll be more for me in the coming days as we continue to remove the trash from this bus and even get this flooring that's currently on here out so we can create a new subfloor. So you all have a wonderful, blessed day. Talk to you soon.